Hello and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about what it means if you have your natal Saturn in Taurus or in the second house. Saturn is essentially the planet of karma, discipline, and difficulties. What Saturn does is, wherever it is placed within our natal chart, it brings us a lot of restrictions and challenges. We need to undergo a lot of difficult lessons and a lot of hardships in order to actually access the qualities of our Saturn sign. Usually with our Saturn placement, things get a lot better after our first Saturn return, as this is a time where we actually learn a lot of the lessons associated with our Saturn placement, and we can overcome a lot of the limitations it causes in our life. If you want to know more about Saturn, I recommend purchasing my ebook, where I go into great detail about everything that Saturn represents. This ebook is called Saturn's Impact on Your Life Path, and it guides you towards the right path to navigate your Saturn challenges. I'll add the link to this ebook in the description to this video if you'd like to go check it out on my website. So Saturn represents discipline, responsibility, and the lessons we learn through our challenges and over time. Wherever Saturn is located in our chart, it pushes us to grow. But the only way that we can really grow is through overcoming a lot of hurdles and difficulties associated with what it represents. So what essentially happens when one unmovable force, which is Saturn, meets up with another unmovable force, which is Taurus? So Taurus is an earth sign, and Taurus represents stability, patience, and determination. It's ruled by Venus, and Taurus embodies beauty, love, and everything sensual and material in our lives. Taurus teaches us to appreciate the finer things in life and to find persistence in our pursuits and to cherish the tangible pleasures that we get to experience. So what happens when Saturn and Taurus come together? The lessons that you need to learn essentially revolve around money, luxury, pleasure, and comforts. So essentially, a person who has their Saturn in Taurus really struggles in the beginning of their life to access the things that Taurus represents. They might not get to enjoy the finer things in life. They might not get to really experience the beautiful experiences they can through their senses. Stability and material abundance might not be part of their life, and they might have to really work hard to create this. So Taurus has a very strong desire for beauty, luxury, and stability. It seeks the comfort of soft fabrics, the lure of art, the richness of gourmet food, and the security of a stable financial life. On the other hand, Saturn brings with it lessons. And in these lessons, you need to learn patience and the value of hard work. So essentially, what Saturn does to Taurus is it forces restraint and it prevents the overindulgence in the finer things in life. So Taurus loves to indulge. Taurus loves to experience all the good things life has to offer. But when Saturn is in Taurus, this individual feels restricted in being able to access these things. Now, these restrictions and limitations they feel can be self-imposed, and it can also be caused by their external circumstances. So essentially, people who have Saturn in Taurus experience a strong push and pull within themselves. One side wants them to be simple, practical, which are things represented by Saturn, while the other side wants them to indulge and to have intense sensory pleasures. So the key lesson associated with Saturn in Taurus is finding stability in discipline and pleasure. So not giving into pleasure so much that you actually lack discipline and structure in your life, but also not focusing and emphasizing discipline and structure in your life too much that you have absolutely no pleasures and experiences that make you happy. What's really great about this placement is that once the native actually figures out a way to balance themselves, once they figure out that yes, they can be hardworking, they can be practical, they can be responsible and down to earth, and once they actually adopt those traits, all the worldly pleasures will come to them. But as long as they refuse to adopt these traits, worldly and material pleasures are going to be just out of their reach all the time. So Taurus is ruled by Venus. Taurus is a sign of beauty. Taurus is a sign of aesthetics and appearance. Taurus individuals are usually some of the most beautiful people you'll ever meet. So when Saturn is in Taurus in your chart, you have a very strong fear of rejection. So this fear is concerning your physical appearance, the way you dress, and the impression your appearance makes on other people. So with Saturn in Taurus, there's also a lot of fear and insecurity in relation to how much you own, how much money you have, what your societal standing is, and whether your beliefs, your hobbies, or your interests match up to what is expected within society. So these people usually have a very raw and natural beauty to them, and they can also be quite creative and artistic. When they actually do invest in themselves and spend the times really getting to know their true selves, their strengths, their skills, and their talents, they can be remarkably inspirational and creative people. But often, Saturn and Taurus individuals fail to do this, and they actually focus a lot of their time on their material world. These people have a vast and rich inner resource of skills, ideas, ways to express themselves, creative and artistic talent, but often they don't really even explore this. Eventually, the realization comes to them as they age and as they get older that physical beauty fades, but the beauty of what you can create and contribute to the world will last forever. So these individuals really need to invest in themselves. But what I mean by investing in themselves is not buying a fancy house, not buying designer clothes or a sport car. They need to invest in their skills and their talents. So if they find themselves connecting with some kind of hobby, they need to really dive into that hobby and explore it. They need to fund it. They need to do courses, buy all the things that's needed to do that hobby, because the moment they invest in their own skills and talents, that is when they really start progressing in life. Spending money on things that can't really further them, but that's beautiful and shiny and fancy, is not the best path to follow. So Saturn is also the planet of difficulties and effort. So for Saturn and Taurus people, expressing the traits associated with Taurus can be really difficult and requires a lot of effort. So they might not really enjoy being in nature. They might actually feel really uncomfortable in nature, unlike what most Taurus individuals experience. They might struggle to look after their appearance or have issues with their appearance and be very insecure about it, because Taurus represents beauty. It represents physical perfection, and Saturn essentially limits this. Taurus represents luxury, it represents comfort, relaxation, but when Saturn is in Taurus, you can feel that you don't deserve these things or you don't have access to these things. A lot of people with Saturn in Taurus can believe that their life does not have abundance, wealth, beauty, and their life actually lacks these things. But the thing is, they have to put in a lot of effort to create these things within their lives, and these things don't just naturally come to them. So Saturn in Taurus, it can really seem like the world is set up against you and makes it challenging to secure the essentials you need to thrive. But it's vital to embrace and amplify your inner qualities. Elevate your natural gifts and lean into your unique charm, as this is what will get you through everything. Saturn in Taurus individuals possess a depth of character that many wish they had. So when you have Saturn in Taurus, things like material comforts and luxury might not naturally come to you because you're meant to focus on deeper things in life. So you're meant to focus on the intricate worth and value of yourself and other individuals. You need to focus on fostering and creating meaningful relationships. You need to learn to not base your judgments on superficial things in life. Often, Saturn and Taurus individuals can be very minimalistic. They don't have a lot and they don't accumulate a lot because Saturn limits this flow of a lot of material things around them. So the reason why Saturn and Taurus individuals struggle is because they don't see a point in the rat race of life, and they look for alternative ways to live their life that makes them feel happy and complete. So even though they get pressured into being in the rat race and to kind of living that sort of life, they really don't want to. And because of that, this is why they struggle. They'd rather live a life of peace and slowness than a life that is rush, rush, rush. So even though they feel inadequate and insecure because they don't have much, they usually feel a lot happier than most people because they're not living a life that's filled with consistent expectations. So a really big challenge for Saturn and Taurus individuals is achieving financial stability and self-sufficiency. Often these people can place a lot of attention on the deeper things in life, and that causes them to actually neglect responsibilities. And this can result in financial instability. If you have a Saturn in Taurus child, shower them with love. It's very important for them to know that they're beautiful. Their insecurities can often come from feeling physically inadequate. So with a Saturn in Taurus child, there's no such thing as too much love and overpraising them. Saturn in Taurus will give this child a lack of self-confidence. So it's very important to actually nurture their confidence and self-worth. So one of the most beautiful gifts that Saturn in Taurus brings is groundedness. They have their feet firmly planted and they navigate the world with a steady and practical approach. They don't just dream, they lay down the foundation brick by brick. Their grounded nature ensures that they're not easily swayed by external disturbances. But often their refined and practical exterior hides a very, very strong and profound appreciation for inner beauty and intrinsic values. So these people might not talk about it much, they might not mention it, but they are very deeply connected with their intuitive side. And they really value gentle, loving, caring souls around them. Inner beauty and people who have a rich inner world automatically attracts a Saturn in Taurus individual. Often a Saturn in Taurus person will see beyond the superficial and recognize the essence that many might overlook. So to a Saturn in Taurus, the shine of gold doesn't come from its glitter, but from its inherent worth. So in a world that often prioritizes being flashy over substance, one of the biggest things Saturn Taurus individuals are going to struggle with is self-worth. Despite their real, true intrinsic value, they really do undervalue themselves and can really be their own harshest critic. So their natural inclination towards material wealth is at odds with Saturn's restrictive energy, leading to consistent financial anxieties. They really desire stability and abundance, but often find the journey to maintain it riddled with obstacles. I think that one of their most profound challenges is balancing the physical and spiritual world. They yearn for material comfort and security, yet there's an inner call and a need to nurture the soul and to find a deeper meaning beyond the tangible. So to a Saturn in Taurus, their life goal or their life challenge is to find harmony between wealth and wisdom. To not give too much attention to acquiring and creating wealth, but also not giving too much attention to wisdom and the deeper things in life. So essentially finding a balance between these two. So here's some advice that I can give to you if you have Saturn in Taurus. Really learn to embrace your self-worth. Start by creating a routine for yourself that really encourages self-love. Whether it's creating daily affirmations that you tell yourself every morning, or if you simply take moments throughout the day to appreciate yourself. Remember that self-worth starts from you and it starts from within. No other person can create a feeling of self-worth for you. It's all about how much self-love, appreciation, time, and kindness you give to yourself. Learning to cultivate some more financial wisdom is also very important if you have Saturn in Taurus. So Saturn in Taurus, going through life all willy-nilly and just winging it is really not going to work. You really need to plan ahead. You really need to put practical steps in motion. You really need to budget. Because without doing these things, you might fail and things will become very challenging for you. Another important thing is to prioritize your own beauty. You will be super happy and you will thrive when you feel beautiful in your own skin. So it's really important to invest in self-care. Consider purchasing yourself clothes that make you feel really good about yourself. Make your skincare a priority and create a living space that feels comfortable for you. The more you're surrounded by beauty and the more you feel beautiful, the more confident you'll actually feel about yourself. So this might be quite an extreme example, but a lot of people I know who actually became homeless have Saturn in Taurus. Let me explain to you why this unfolds within their life as part of their karmic path. With Saturn in Taurus, mastering the material realm can be difficult, although there's a lot of focus and emphasis on this. So if the native starts out their life struggling to create money, abundance, security, and comforts for themselves, they can either put a lot of emphasis on creating this, or they can entirely give up. Often what happens when they give up focusing on this aspect of life is they focus on, often what happens when they give up focusing on this part of life because it is just too difficult. It is just too challenging. They can lose things very, very fast and very, very quickly. So the mentality of, I don't need to have anything as long as I have myself, is present here when the challenges become too hard. But the issue is, once the Saturn in Taurus individual reaches a point where they have nothing, then they really did not learn what Saturn was trying to teach them. They really did not listen. So Saturn in Taurus individuals really need to try hard and work hard to not lose everything in life, or not necessarily lose everything, but to be in a position where they have really, really little. Because yes, money and having things is not everything in life, but it is part of life. Life is all about a balance of different parts of it. So things like relationships, money, career, work, leisure, pleasure. Life is all about a balance of these things. So if you deny one aspect of life, your life is going to be completely out of balance. So what I'm saying here is Saturn in Taurus is quite a difficult position, and it's all about striking the perfect balance between placing value on your inner self and the unseen things in life, but also placing a lot of value on how easier the material comforts and luxuries in life can make your life. So just because you're enjoying the material things, just because you're enjoying money, does not mean you're not spiritual. Spiritual people can be wealthy. Spiritual people can have money and have a lot of nice things. Often, how much abundance and wealth a person has is a direct reflection of how much they're contributing to the world. So building a comfortable material life for yourself does not remove you from spirituality, and it does not make you less spiritual. My video on Saturn in Taurus. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this video. Do you have Saturn in Taurus, and can you relate? Do you know someone who has Saturn in Taurus who struggles with these themes? Subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and check out the links below to my website and social media if you'd like to stay in touch and connect with me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.